COVID-19 First Alert Forecast. Certified most accurate since 2004.
All right, here's a live look in Oberlin. We're starting to see some rain coming down there. We've been watching this all morning long because we knew it was coming. Andy's been keeping us updated, and they're finally starting to see it there.
Yeah, and it shouldn't last too long. It's just a very isolated, scattered cell. We're starting to see a bit of an increase in coverage in that scattered activity right now. And then we will continue to see that, especially in our southern counties later on, but across the lakeshore, especially in our northern tier of counties. Really, I'd say the best opportunity for seeing a shower or storm is this morning before we start to dry out this afternoon. An increasing amount of sunshine, still humid though, and temperatures a few degrees lower today compared to yesterday. Then once we finally get rid of this front, which has been bugging us the past few days, that's why we've seen these rain and storm chances and showers and storms around. The next couple of days, it's going to be hot and humid. Maybe a stray shower or storm for your Monday and Tuesday, but it's mostly dry. It will feel like it's well into the 90s when you factor in that humidity. Finally getting a change in the pattern Wednesday, scattered storms with a stronger front moving through. It's still going to be humid, not quite as hot, just depending on exactly when those storms do bubble up. But that's going to bring in much more refreshing weather as we head towards the end of the week. So some changes coming to our temperatures. We're going to tick off another couple 90-degree days in Cleveland as we head through Monday and Tuesday. It'll be in the 90s everywhere. And then look at this end of the week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, feeling almost like fall with temperatures in the 70s, and the humidity will be very low as well. So still have to get through the middle of this week, and then we're going to start to get more of a fall-like feel as we change the calendar. But here's what's going on right now in terms of first alert Doppler, some showers and storms. It's scattered, but the coverage is a little bit higher than it was just an hour or so ago. We have some of these scattered cells in southern Medina County, south of the city of Medina right now, but there's a lightning strike, so these are storms in some areas. These are generally moving, which is good news, but these have been very efficient rain producers. So similar to yesterday, while we did see an instance or two of some local high water, I don't want to roll that out today, and also some gusty winds in some of these cells as well. Mansfield getting just some light to moderate rain right now. Most of the storm activity is heading to the southern portions of Richland County, and then up to the north, here's a cell that's been moving across parts of Erie County, and then here's that just line of rain that's been briefly moving through Oberlin right now. Scattered cells to the north and east as well. So first alert future view shows more of a southern focus as we head with this scattered activity through the afternoon. We will quiet down all of us overnight. Biggest thing I want to mention overnight is some fog with a clearer sky, light wind, and damp ground. Areas of dense fog will settle in, so be mindful of that on your morning commute for Monday. Once that fog lifts, we're mostly sunny, hazy, hot, and humid. Maybe a stray storm or two. Don't want to rule that out as we head into Tuesday as well. But the big story looking at your first alert 7-day is the hot and humid conditions Monday and Tuesday. Scattered storms on Wednesday. A few showers may linger into Thursday morning, but Friday and Saturday very nice with temperatures in the 70s and low humidity.